How long does it take to write a business plan? I've written hundreds of them. I'm going to help you go through that. As entrepreneurs and business owners, we know that if we have a clear plan, anything becomes possible. And if you can have a clear plan, a clear process to create that plan, and a way to create clarity with your partner or spouse, you can drive to amazing heights. So when it comes to writing a business plan, there's a few things that you need to consider. First off is, what is the purpose of the business plan? Now, from a timing perspective, I've done them literally in a couple hours. You can do that, and you can have a template that outlines those. But I'm going to encourage you to reframe your thinking about a business plan and think of it more as a living document that is something that you can always be using. Now, I've done literally hundreds of business plans and only completed a handful because it gets going down the road. And I use a business plan with the purpose of saying, is this a good business to start? And then what are the areas I need to be looking at? So I started my first of 16 companies when I was 19. I have built them, bought them, sold them, wrecked them. I have helped hundreds of people define how to build their new businesses. And I've helped a bunch of companies 10x growth. A few that went from entrepreneurial all the way to billion-dollar market caps. So the primary things that when you're thinking about building a business plan, and I wrote a book on it, bestseller book on how you actually go through and build a quality business plan. But the intention, what are you doing this for? Now, if you're doing this for school, fair enough, you can outline it and go through. There's templates and stuff. You can get it done pretty fast. But if you're looking at transitioning and actually starting a business, I'm going to encourage you to slow down and think about a few different steps. Now, those steps are, first, define why are you doing this? What are your personal motivations? And what would success look like when this business is started? If it's just like, oh, I've got an opportunity to do this and I can make a bunch of money, nothing wrong with that. If it's something you're going to enjoy. But if you hate it and it's a pain in the ass and it's a drudge to get up every day, it's going to be the wrong motivation, and candidly, you're not going to be very good at it. But if it's something that you figure out the right motivations and you build your life around that, and you build the business so it fits within your life instead of you trying to fit in with your job, it's a different way of looking at it. So start with that in mind. And on this channel, please check out other videos. We talk a lot about those types of things, and as well as it's in the book, and we've got a course at lifeon-yourterms.com that can help you with that. Now, when you actually get down, once you've defined that, the next steps are going to be fairly easy, and they're mechanical, but it's going to take time, because to do it really well, you're going to need to interview people. And I tell you exactly how to do those questions and other videos in this. But when we start with, first, you've defined success. What do you want that to look like? Then the next piece is going to be defining what is your product. And I don't want you to get it all the way deep in the weeds on try and make it perfect. You will change it. It will evolve. But when you're looking at your product or service, what makes it unique? What is in the market you're looking at? And then how can you go out and start talking to people about those things? Not selling them yet, just asking them, getting feedback on where they think things are, and trying to learn as much as you can about it, and your product will tweak and change and adjust. But the more niche you can be focused, the higher the likelihood of success. Now, the other piece when you're doing this, if you do this well, you may actually find subcontracting opportunities. You may even find people that are like, yeah, you start doing that, dude, I want you. And that's going to help you to where you can very easily and safely transition. It's never been easier or safer to do that. So we've defined our motivations. The next piece is starting to understand what is our product or potential product or service. Then the third thing is, how do we go through and build an amazing team of advisors? Now, you have to remember, there is an entire army of other solopreneurs out there who are looking to build and to work with you. And most of them will give you an hour of their time on them to start with. I always suggest that you start with a great small business accountant, somebody who knows small business very well. They're going to be able to help lead these. Make sure these people all share your values. They're people that you like, and that they're not talking down or being condescending to you. This is the kind of thing where you have to remember they're going to work for you. Now, it doesn't mean you don't ask questions. If they start using big words, fair enough. Hey, I don't understand what that means. What's that mean? It's one of the smartest things you can say. But when you go, we start with a small business accountant, then you're going to get a small business attorney. What's the right structure? How do we do those things? So I've got contracts, I'm legal, maybe a small business insurance agent to make sure I understand what those pieces are, what I should have, what's nice to have, and what I got to have. And and then potentially marketing. There's other people that can help with this. But you can build a whole team of advisors that can really be amazing and help support you. And remember, you have to know what to do. You don't have to know exactly how to do it, but you're the one who has to make sure everything gets done. Now, once we've done that, then you're going to actually start creating the business plan. But the reality is if you've been documenting all this stuff, you've already outlined the majority of it. You've got a lot of great stuff that's in this business plan already. You're going to start looking at how are we going to do our financing, what are the other components within that. Maybe you'll create some spreadsheets or pro formas, which is a future projection of revenue or income. And then once you go through all this, you're going to be able to sit back and say, this is a no-brainer. I'd be an idiot not to do this business. When you can get to that point, you know you're being successful. And that, to me, is the definition of an amazing business plan. Now, the reality, though, is that business plan is going to be a living document and can constantly keep changing, evolving, and growing. But as you do that, it's going to help you when you expand, when you grow, when you pivot, when you make adjustments across the board. Now, the last thing in the business plan is you need to be clear on how you're going to actually transition from where you are now to where the business starts. And how are you going to hold yourself accountable with ruthless but compassionate accountability? Who's going to help that? How are you going to do those things? Again, these are all the steps within a business plan. Now, this may not be the ideal perfect business plan for schools, but I can promise you this is one that actually fucking works. This is a way to look at those things. So if you found value in this, hey, please subscribe to this channel. We've got a bunch of videos on all sorts of different things. If you have questions, please don't be afraid of reaching out. You can go to Aspiring Solopreneur. And if this is something you want to do, it has never been easier or safer. But you have to be very clear and intentional with how you do it. Wish you nothing but best of luck. Keep smiling.